are live.
Like my lighting is a little off this. See,
We live. We live. We in here. We in here.
and I feel like I'm jealous of Toya's lighting.
Got a ring light.
Yeah, it's like we can see your ring light in your glasses.
and I feel like it don't do nothing no different.
Yeah, I think it's just you gotta it's gotta be how you position it somehow. You gotta be how you position to come out. Y'all come on in, man. This is the Chop Up Show. It's Monday. Y'all know what it is.
It's Monday.
It's the Chop Up Show. We getting it in.
Getting our mission too, y'all.
Yeah. What's good with y'all? What's good with y'all? Hey, and we blowing up in the subscribers. You feel me? Everybody that subscribed to the page, appreciate y'all. We up at 12. We up at 1,200 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? So we getting it in.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the new subscribers too to the Consciously page as well. Definitely appreciate everybody that, you know what I'm saying, that's been tapping in, especially the new videos. What's going on, Dr. Dancy?
Yes, sir. Dr. Dancy in the building. Dr. Dancy came in after you left last week, Judge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I missed him. I missed Dr. Dancy.
Yeah. But we getting it in today too, though. It's an interesting conversation to do, though. Cause I know Dr. Dancy a fan of Umar Johnson. I know Dr. Dancy fuck with Umar. This is a shout out to all the Umar heads out there, man. That's not usually a chop up conversation, but it's gonna be a chop up conversation today. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all say what's up as y'all come in the building.
What's up, Jaleesa?
Hello, Jaleesa. What's good with you?
What's up, girl?
Yeah. Yeah, man. As soon as we get a few of y'all in here, we're gonna get it started.
I have
What's
to
good with
so bad.
He said Umar Washington. No, sir. Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson. The relative of who he said he's a descendant of Frederick Douglass. Yeah. Umar Douglas, like a motherfucker.
Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know that Johnson. That's the Johnson I don't know. What Kiki Palmer said, I'm sorry, I do not know that man.
That's
Sorry. Sorry
huh?
to that man.
Hey, Shay Smith in the building.
Yeah, man.
What's
Shout out to
good with you,
everybody
Shay?
tapping in with us.
Yeah.
We got a nice conversation for y'all today, man. We're gonna explore some Umar Johnson, Breakfast Club viral moments. We're gonna get into, you know, a little bit of politics in terms of what's going on. And then, you know, I feel like I like when Toya's chop is, you know what I'm saying, kind of fresh on everybody's, you know what I'm saying, toes. So I ain't even gonna tell y'all what Toya gonna jump in for the conversation with us, man. We're gonna tell a friend that we going live on the Chop Up Show. You know, we available on all podcast platforms as well. You feel me? So going on and subscribe on that, you know, Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever you like to get on.
Yeah. Hey, so you know, we done got it up in some numbers real quick, so we might as well get it started. Y'all know we gotta start the show the way that we always start the show. Let's go.
Me, my guys, we really live. Lord, forgive me, pay my tithes. Please don't have me reach inside. And that's in the console. Keep the semi when I ride. Lit off Henny when I drive. In the city, we gon' slide. Bet I be there pronto.
And this is the Chop Up. Chopped up, never chopped up. You know who it is. George Lee, aka Consciously. Don't forget the Lee. GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com. Who am I with?
It is your girl Toya G. What's going on, y'all? It's another Monday, last Monday of April. Have y'all realized how we pushing through this month? Like, I don't know, March a second ago, and now we on the way to May. But I ain't mad at it. We out here, and I appreciate y'all spending another Monday night with us. What's up?
Yeah, it's almost summertime. It's the plug. I'm here. We finally got another political chop. You know what I'm saying? I've been licking my chops. I'm ready to get this one in, man. I ain't had a phone, so I ain't been able to really be on social media. I broke my phone screen, so I ain't been able to do my rants and raves.
Always.
Another chapter of Dominique's phonelessness. Y'all got
he hard on phones, man. I'm talking about he hard on phones. Shout out to Noel.
Yeah,
definitely.
The homie Taz in the building, T Dizzle in the building.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell you know what to do.
Hey, real quick, in and out. This is the Snap Chop, and this ain't nothing too heavy or too hard. I need y'all to drop some suggestions. The spring is here, but you already know, even outside of the seasons changing, that people are always coming up with stuff. It's always new stuff coming out. So I just want to do a vibe check real quick. What are y'all binging? What are y'all watching? I gave myself a personal snowfall marathon this weekend because I needed to catch up from season 2 to season 4. That doggone Samson, what's his name? Damson Idris. He's something else, you know, and you know, the Brits is taking over the game. So Mr. Franklin Saint, you know, Samson, what's Damson Idris is killing that role, is knocking out of the park. But I gotta know what else y'all are watching. Let me know if y'all up on Snowfall. I still got, I think, one or two more episodes before I'm caught up. But what else? Jamar said The Rookie. Okay. And I got a question about that. Why y'all telling me y'all stuff? I want to ask George and Damo. Well, first, what y'all watching?
Man, right now I feel like because I ain't watching that much TV, my wife been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy, and she actually started from the top. Like she also started from like season 1, episode 1. Now she in like season 3, maybe going on season 4. But yeah, that's what I've been catching here and there, just because, you know what I'm saying, I ain't watching a lot of TV. When I am, I guess I'm watching with the wife and she watching Grey's Anatomy. So shit. Yeah. Shout out to Meredith and Georgie and them.
Yeah, right on.
I mean, yeah, I don't really be doing a lot of TV watching. Like, only thing I would really watch is sports. And then after the Chiefs lost, I kind of like took a break from.
Yeah, Dominique just said that he gonna watch something that's gonna make him cry, so he don't watch no shows.
Yeah. I really don't. You said what?
Is the Handmaid's Tale back? I seen Danielle said Handmaid's Tale. Is that back? Is it back?
Oh, we gotta see. But
y'all know, but y'all know that, you know what I'm saying. We gonna get into what I'm really good at, and that's the politics shit in a little bit. But also, I've been on my comic book shit. So the shit that I have been watching, you feel me? Of course, I've been watching Falcon. Of course, I've been watching Falcon and Winter Soldier. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course. And then I started watching some other shit on some DC shit, Titan shit. But yeah, it's, you know, comic book shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
But if we talking about the hip shit, then the Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's what niggas is on. Yeah.
I've been hearing that. Already know I don't belong in the Marvel, the MC universe, or the universe of the universe either. But Noelle said she's been watching Marvel movies and binging them and getting them all in for the last month, so that's lit. Got a couple amens on Grey's. George Danielle said it comes back on the 30th, April 30th, so in a couple days. This Friday.
It come back on Wednesday. Now, into my wife right here and said it come back on Wednesday. Like, okay. like you know what I'm saying.
I couldn't get into it. I'm gonna try it again. This one I always look at like it must be something too because everybody talk about it, but I couldn't get into it. Who else? Somebody said who? Kara. I had to go to Kara. Kara said seventh heaven in this thing. What you know about that?
Oh.
What you know
about? But hold on. But ain't the father from seventh heaven? Ain't he?
He got into some trouble once upon a time.
You know what I'm saying? So shit that should be canceled. Hey, if we ain't listening to R. Kelly, goddamn it, we ain't watching seventh heaven. Let's be real. Lester J said he was literally in the middle of Black Ink Crew and saw us live. And now he projecting this on the big screen. So he said the vibe is the chop up. Yo, shit. The vibe is the chop up. You know what I mean?
Let me see The Circle. I don't know if y'all watched the first Circle that was on Netflix and it was out, but The Circle is like the whole. It's like a social media game where it's hard to describe or explain. I don't want to take the time out to explain The Circle to y'all, but it's a really interesting like social experiment, like live reality show. That maybe I suggest y'all get into. We got The Golden Girls, always a classic. Equalizer with Queen Latifah is something I want to get into. That's what Shay Two Spirited Woman said that they've been watching. American Gods. I ain't never heard of that. Godfather of Harlem. I never heard of that
too. I have been. I've also been watching. I know y'all. I'm pretty sure all y'all done seen that Social Dilemma documentary. My wife ended up having me watching this other one called Fake Famous. And was breaking down how the new celebrity culture is like motherfuckers faking the funk on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like showing all the fake shit that you could do to actually become somebody that's seen as famous, like buying bots like faking pictures at mansions and all of the type of
I
shit.
think I saw some
it's
social
crazy.
media posts that talked about like rich people who buy bags and they typically buy some expensive bags but rotate hella fake bags in between because they know that all they got to do is buy or share a real bag or two and you'll believe every other bag they have is real. So they really don't have to go out and splurge on everything else. They just got a couple of good ones. I'm telling you, Noel, watch Grey's. Watch it. Do it. Get your mind, your heart together and watch Grey's Anatomy. It'll change your life.
Don't do it.
We'll be back. Y'all said that. Beverly, this is the reason why I watch Grey's. One of the huge reasons is that outside of it being bomb, Helen Pompeo is lit. I love her. Love watching her on social media and just pretty much everything she does. Real quick, second vibe check though. I know y'all dropping what y'all been watching, what y'all been listening to. Give me your top 2 artists. Right, give me your winner in terms of what you keep in rotation, and who's your runner-up. Who's the second person you listen to the most these days? Give me some vibes. Who y'all listening to? You can even drop projects if you want to. But what's been in y'all?
Man,
rotation?
you know what? I'm actually mad.
It ain't gotta be new. I'm loving.
But nah, but you know what? That's what I'm saying. I'm actually mad. Like that new Drake, that scary. I think it was Scary Hours too. I had that in rotation, but I thought it was cool.
Who that by?
It was cool. That's Drake.
Oh, okay.
The new joint. Because he got the Certified Lover Boy that's supposed to be coming out. So you always got to drop. So you got to drop a little mixtape with the throwaways. So it was
of course.
It was
okay. Lee, who you been rocking?
That was 3 songs, dog. It was 3 songs in rotation.
But you know, I'm just talking about like in terms of like just the 3 songs. You feel me? Like it was like throwaway joints. But of course, like Drake throwaway joints is like chart topping singles. You feel me? So
man, I've been listening to I feel like I've been listening to a lot of slow jams here lately. And the Gideon Heartbreak Anniversary. I've been listening to that a lot. I've been listening to this to that Anderson Park. Is Anderson Park?
Oh, that Silk Sonic. Oh,
how I
bullshit on that. Yes,
and then I found myself listening to some Avant on the way to on the way to campus this morning. After hoping and a praying and a wishing.
You know what you going through, nigga.
I see somebody say 90s R&B. That's more like some 2000s R&B, but we got some 90s, 2000s popping. Let me see. Moray. I'm gonna have to. That's one of the people I haven't heard of that I seen.
Hey, Moray, he live though from North Carolina.
They sing, they rap, they be rapping.
Sing rap. Let's get some child a kickstand.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay. I don't know. It's so many, you know, it's so flooded. I don't know none of it. I know it'd be a song.
I can tell you none of that.
Like I never would have known those two went together. Like didn't know you made that project. I seen some Dua Lipa in here. I kind of chilled with some Dua Lipa last week. It was cool. It was an interesting experience. It wasn't bad. Isley Brothers on repeat. Ever since they had that verses, I definitely have been sliding a couple more jams in the rotations to make sure I'm picking my boxes for the vibe.
I definitely had a DMX session. I introduced my son.
I had a DMX jam session.
Yeah.
I had jam and went off.
Yeah, we went through the classics. I went through the classics with my seed. It was nostalgic.
Definitely.
I enjoyed it.
Well, my goal was to get a couple of suggestions from y'all. I've been peeping in the comments sometimes of what to listen to and what to watch. But I always want to take the opportunity to toss it around in case other people are looking for some stuff to get rolling or watching and get into. I love me a good medical drama. So all of Chicago, Chicago Med, Grey's, ER. I done got into some old school episodes of ER real quick.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm also
ER.
Hey, don't sleep.
That young George Clooney.
We also hate the police industrial complex. We hate the police who want to abolish that shit, but I am a sucker for a cop drama. And, I'm ashamed to admit it, but I am. I do watch them. It's still FTP, but I know that Olivia Benson is a good person deep down.
Right.
So it just kind of is what it is. That being said, we done with the Snapchat. Thank y'all for checking in. If y'all looking for something to listen to or watch, just scroll up in the chat, in the comments, and get y'all some new recommendations for these next couple of weeks. And watch Snowfall. If you're not, you're missing out. Don't sleep. I'm off this. I'm done with the Snapchat. What's next?
Okay. Hey, this next chop, man, we're gonna call this the Uncle Chop. You feel me? Recently in the news, we've had Dr. Umar Johnson hit the airwaves on Breakfast Club, where he was able to say a lot of sensational things. Before we get into, I feel like the specifics of what he said. I'm just curious. What do y'all think is the fascination with Dr. Umar Johnson in the internet?
If I could go first, he's a he's and I'm really against like taking like things that were meaningful to us, like woke and hotep and like those things that had value that niggas then flipped and turned around and gave all fucked up all meaning to. But if you're looking at hotep in the most stereotypical mainstream white liberal perspective, he's like that mascot. You know what I'm saying? Like he checks all them boxes. You feel me? Like he has the talking points, he has the rhetoric. I mean, he has the intentions, right? The pedagogy. You feel me? Of like all the things that match the stereotype associated with that quote unquote hotep framing. Now, I don't agree with the way in which it's been utilized, but because he's able to like be that character to most people, like that, it make for great TV.
Toya, what you got?
I forgot I was muted. My bad. I don't disagree. So the question was him that captivates people.
Yeah, what do you think about him that captivates the internet? Captivates people.
He's a hell of a speaker. He's dynamic and charismatic. He can get your attention. He's a great speaker. Like I literally, when I watched his most recent Breakfast Club interview, I mean, I'm a communication scholar by training, right? Like I teach public speaking classes. I'm a professional speaker. So when I'm looking for, when I listen to people speak, and as you should with anybody, don't just look at them to appreciate them for what they say. Try to figure out why the hell they get people how they got them. Like, what is it? Donald Trump was able to tap into the nerves and sensibilities of a lot of people who you would never expect. But it's the delivery. It's something in how they kind of get in there, the things that they say, the way that they say them. And now you'd be lying if you said Dr. Umar can't talk his ass off. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's all said and done and sound convincing as hell while he do it. I just figured out very quickly that the vision of Black people and of Black nation building and of confrontation with white supremacy that he has, I don't fit in that vision. When he's talking about a lot of those things, he's not talking about me. If he had to turn his politics against me and be critical of me, he would be critical of my personhood, not just of my methods, not just of my approaches, not just of my perspectives. He would be critical of my personhood, which is why I can't buy into it. But I'd be damned if he don't got a hook in him. He's something else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I feel like
and I'll say this real quick, and it's easy. You know what I'm saying? For niggas like myself and niggas like George, like it would really be easy for us to be like, nah, Omar, cool. But I mean, it's like I think because our politics are more about, what I'm saying, making sure that our Blackness isn't like impeding on somebody else's. You feel me? Or undermining somebody else's. Our perspective of Blackness aren't doing those things. Then it's like, then I gotta call in the question like how you move with that shit. Go ahead.
I feel like he has a big. He's very knowledgeable of a lot of different things, and he speaks with a whole bunch of tenacity and just power. You know what I'm saying when he talks. But I feel like this before, like what is y'all criticism of what about Dr. Umar Johnson is it that y'all don't rock with? I hear Toya saying like he don't really. I'm not a part of his vision when he talks about being resistant towards white supremacy. Like, can you go a little bit more into that? Because people always ask me how I feel about Dr. Umar Johnson and what I think about Dr. Umar Johnson. So I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did y'all,
He's just kind of homophobic and transphobic in ways that I can't really get with. He's very outspoken and flat-footed about his image of what Black nation building looks like, what Black family familial units should look like, what types of causes we should be gathering and capitalizing on. And I think I got hit to Dr. Umar watching the infamous, the famous, any conscious nigga has entered the conscious world vis-a-vis the portals of Hidden Colors. And so
you done watched it.
Getting into a lot of that and being so excited about finding Black people who spoke so specifically and prolifically to my consciousness, but also recognizing that you know, a lot of his politics ain't got nothing to do with Black queer folk. I just was like, yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, he appealed to a juvenile like understanding of being pro-Black, even like a juvenile understanding of Black nationalism. It's very like essentialist, like his understanding, like how he comes to understand Pan-Africanism, and so that's why like when you go to Hidden Colors, on a face value, if you somebody who's getting into understanding Blackness and like you trying to transition from, okay, I'm saying fuck whiteness and fuck the white perspective, but what's the like what else do I get into? Umar Johnson is like where you would look to, because any like really niggas standing up for Black shit, you know what I mean, niggas find valuable, period. And it's a lot of things that we concede to and that we allow, so we have these voices, right? It's a lot of concessions that we make so we have these voices. And so initially when you like, the Hidden Color shit is cool, but then as you start to really get into like research and understanding, then you start to see like
yeah, some of that shit was pseudoscience.
It's ahistorical than the motherfucker.
I will also say, I know y'all remember that very public feud he had with
Seti.
What's his name?
Seti. You talking about Tariq Nasheed? You talking about Tariq Nasheed?
Sarah Seti or whatever.
Seti, yeah.
Yeah, when they was going back and forth, this is a couple years ago. They was going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? This Black consciousness is the pinnacle, is the apex of Black consciousness, and wanting to be leaders of this community. You build in schools, you educate, and you create and shit like that. And you King Kong consciousness, and I'm the Prince of Pan-Africanism, and this and that, man. All of these titles, all this clout you trying to get, all of this relevance you trying to get. I couldn't imagine the other revolutionaries and leaders of our time kind of getting at each other. Like that shit was it was such a turnoff in terms of who I can't be even proud to walk around and say I subscribe to your politics, because the way you materialize from your politics is just such a damn turnoff. Like I'm not paying attention to none of that food. I'm not getting behind none of that. I can't get behind that.
Yeah. It was funny though. It got me into YouTube. I actually, and shout out to the Solar Vision Debate League. Y'all know I be debating over there. I be debating on YouTube. And that's what got me over there, bro. I was like, where did this shit come from? Out of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Because wherever Black people is, I be wanting to see what Black people be on. You know what I'm saying? And when I was like, who is this nigga arguing with? Who pissed him off to this degree? So I find Seti, you find Sadnetta, and then
with the thoughts of Dr. Umar Johnson, though, I just want to just throw my 2 cents in there with another doctor. Shout out to Dr. Dancy. And I've seen him use traditional American medicine medical volumes to argue queerness was a mental illness, which were the same volumes that once argued Black people wanting to get off the plantation was mental illness. And me just knowing what I know from going to grad school and actually having to take classes with the DSM, it's like you supposed to be King Kong consciousness, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, using the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistic Manual, to talk about mental health, but you're supposed to be always already talking about freeing yourself from white supremacy and doing all these things, but you literally use a white supremacist psychological standard to try to weaponize against other Black people to try to talk about mental illness. So for me, it just be like, fam, I think that your revolutionary politics is a bit shabby, to say the least.
I mean, and this is as an aside, this is not a segue. I don't want to get derailed, but I don't know if y'all are familiar out there in the Twitter and Instagram world with Hood Healer, right? But she is also somebody else who has become very critical of homosexuality and of queer relationships, and talks about how queerness, and she's somebody who from a spiritual perspective is supposed to be this leader, somebody who speaks specifically to Black people and their needs and issues and has all these sensitivities. But when her version, her flavor of spirituality suggests or just demands that all queer folks have come to their identity because of some type of trauma that they've experienced, right? She has that version of it, that instead of looking to the DSM and looking to mental health, her spirituality is rooted in trauma exploitation and trying to demand that all people who are queer have. It's just really, I mean, she says a whole bunch of off the wall stuff, but it's just really, it sucks that we are thirsting and desiring literally for people to lead us and guide us.
The same thing too, don't you?
And they say weak shit like this, like it's terrible, yo. But
I mean, and I think
thing for you. I feel like Umar said. I think.
Well, yeah,
that's Umar's justification too for it. Like you've come to homosexuality or you've come to lesbianism. How he calls it.
They're associated with pedophilia and molestation, and now and the reason why that shit is not as how it goes against, because you were saying like they wasn't like the revolutionary shit wasn't there. I think it's there. It's just selective than the motherfucker.
No, I'm saying yeah. That's why I say it's shabby.
Yeah, it's selective. Like in one hand, like you got to call into question everything that these people have taught you. You got to call into question your entire understanding. But when it comes to like man, woman, sexuality, these type of things, like nah, they was right about that. Like we stand in solidarity, and it's like if you can't like if that one crack don't cause you to actually ripple through that entire consciousness, you bullshit. You full of shit. You feel me? You got to call all that into question, and so that's that's majorly.
Hey, with this to keep the conversation going, you know what I'm saying? One of the things I feel like I want to play the clip. As a matter of fact, playing the clip.
Ahead, yeah, play the clip.
Yeah, I want to play the clip. Playing this clip, I want to ask the question: is this a case of the broken clock getting it right twice a day, or is this broken clock hands just off on this one as well? Let us know, comment section. Let us know, people.
Go ahead. You got to share it.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing it right now. Can you hear me?
Nope.
Nah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You got to add to.
Oh. You got to do the audio. Go ahead and get it right there. The people giving you time to get it right.
Let's look at some comments. Let me see. Elite Don 3 says every time the oppressed try to move forward, there's a medical volume somewhere that will say they have a mental illness instead of just validating the people. And if that ain't the truth, it's really wild. Similar to the law, right? And like I think just Western institutions like the law, like the medical field, have all worked to discredit otherized people, marginalized people from expressing and articulating their realities in ways that make sense to them. And instead, it just gets brushed off as that ain't that shit. You know what I'm saying? Which is the worst approach. It's the worst reality we have, is that nothing in terms of these medical books or of these legal books represents our realities. Another comment. Dr. Dancy said, it's like they don't even pay attention to pre-colonial African peoples. If you would recognize so much about our civilization, the bedrock of civilization, and how, ain't nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? All these things you think originated in on the European continent or with Europeans or with some other niggas is trendsetters. You know what I'm saying? We are the ones who really have been able to navigate and create and set patterns and trends for what this world is supposed to look like and what it would go on to look like. So stop acting so surprised. Aaliyah Don Diego, Third Beauty says, I don't fucking get it. Honestly, let them tell you you can choose to be gay. Let them tell you you can choose to be gay, but you can't choose to be straight because it's natural. Not recognizing that things are learned. You know what I'm saying? We are both learned and innate creatures. So, and more often than not, the things that we do are learned and not innate, right? So we learn how to be straight. We learn how the reason why you are straight is because you learned it from your surrounding the things around you. Aaliyah Don says, I think that there needs to be an objective research essay on how religious woke people that are trying to press forward by weaponizing homosexuality. It's just the wrong narrative that is deeply rooted.
Y'all can hear that?
We got the audio coming, but that's facts. And I think that's what we was getting at when we talked about, Lil Nas X, is that it's a wrong narrative that's deeply rooted.
In a selectiveness of the religion, where you want to be self-righteous and biblical, and when you want to be able to walk in your flesh.
Exactly. Get your polyester.
And shout out to Black Monopoly on this. That's where we pulling this from.
I want to go to President Biden.
Y'all can hear that?
President Biden, your first day of office, you signed an executive order to protect the life and safety of transgenders. I have no problem with that. But you did it on your first day. But
oh shit.
President Biden, your first day of office, you signed an executive order to protect the life and safety of transgenders. I have no problem with that. But you did it on your first day. But he sat up here with you, Charlemagne, and told black people that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So if you went out of your way begging black people to vote for you, why haven't we got an executive order or any other activity coming out of the Oval Office from President Biden to protect black people from police? Look what he's doing with the anti-Asian hate. President Joe Biden signed an executive order that is exclusive to Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I don't have a problem with that. But if you can protect the Asian American and Pacific Islander from violence, why can't you do the same thing for black people? They've been dealing with violence for 1 year as a result of COVID. That's what it's called, the COVID-19 hate crimes bill, to protect Asians as a result of discriminatory treatment that they've been dealing with for how long? 1 year. Black people have been catching hell for 400 years, and we have yet to get an executive order from Joe Biden to protect us from the police. So can I ask you a question?
So, yeah. Did y'all want to hear the question?
Yeah.
If the Senate was able to pass the anti-Asian hate crimes bill, Charlemagne and Envy, 96-1 with almost no opposition, why is it that the Emmett Till lynching bill still has not been approved? Why is it that there have been over 200 different anti-lynching bills introduced in the U.S. Congress? 200! And not one of them has been approved by the U.S. Congress yet. But the first ever Asian bill goes through on the first try.
All right. Dr. Umar. Wait, Toya, you muted.
George's question was, is this a case of Umar being one of those broken clocks where it's 12 o'clock in the morning and it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon? And both of those are real times. Is he talking about what he's talking about, or is he talking out the side of his neck? What y'all think?
I mean, I think he.
I think it's part and parcel.
Yeah,
I'm about to say, why do you think it's a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both because on one hand, it's like, and we're gonna talk more about that bill when we get into the next topic in a little bit. But on one hand, it's like, okay, you're right? Like he did sit up there with Charlemagne. They did parade Kamala Harris around. They did pander as they do to the black vote and talk about what it meant for and what they would mean for black people and black communities and impact that they would have. And it's been 100 days, and well, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, you do have this bill that for Asian Americans, and because of the new hate that's come out of COVID-19 and the China virus and all the shit that Donald Trump spurred. So it's like, yeah, like that is kind of you do see them reacting with more of a, you know what I'm saying, they got a little fire under their ass to make sure that let's make sure that we not being racist towards Asian American communities. And what I felt was uniquely fucked up about that conversation is that they did use that as an opportunity to chastise black people on racism and whiteness and that type of violence, as if we was the motherfuckers that was committing the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was odd that it was all of a sudden it's like, okay, black people, this is what y'all need to do. Why the fuck y'all talking to us?
Even that though, that's a double. That's kind of a double-edged sword because I mean, we know white supremacy is an equal opportunity employer, right? And so niggas fall for it as well. And I've seen videos, right? We see it in terms of otherized people, marginalized people, intra-communally. Some messed up shit happens from black people toward other. So we have to be living reality. I don't think we need to be lectured to. The paternalism you can definitely keep, right? So I agree 1000%. That was mystifying to just be categorically pulled and called to the carpet like, well, this is what you need to do in the face of this anti-Asian violence. And I also didn't like the exchange, the transactional advocacy. We were there for you over the summer, so you need to be for us now. I don't
that the transactional shit. That was like, bro, it ain't supposed to be quid pro quo. Like at all. You were supposed to be there because you felt like you was witnessing injustice. That's what you were standing there for.
Yeah, and I think that how he started off how the clip started and now he started making this analysis and giving his little, you feel me, basically like his reaction to the days. I feel like him isolating the transgender policy away from the black community, to me, I feel like it's where my criticism of Umar Johnson kind of come in. It's like, bro, I think that your intersectionality or just how you able to catch certain parts of the community is just trash. If you're supposed to be the prince of Pan-Africanism and giving a damn about the black community, it's like black trans women is some of the most murdered women right now, and in part and parcel by the police. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know how you can make this argument and not be able to account for literally like uniquely black trans women. You know what I'm saying? And it's amazing. Like, bro, this is why your shit whack.
And this is why I think, this notion of Pan-Africanism ends up being geospatial and not based on actual niggas everywhere. I don't know. To me, it's like your version of Pan-Africanism is just from both people from the continent to the diaspora to people in the States. You have a solution or a monolithic interpretation of what blackness should look like that can.
Hey, but what he said about Biden, though, I feel like was kind of. I feel like from me, from an Afro pessimist standpoint, especially his analysis when he started getting to the Biden part after he says that has a little bit of teeth to it. But I think that because he starts off with being anti-black against black trans women, it's like, fam, I think your revolutionary impact on it, what you're saying, it kind of takes some sting out of it because you started off with just being able to say, say this to the trans woman, but I'm trans people. I have no issue with trans people. It's like, but what about the black trans women though?
Well, I mean, that's because again, the issue is that the way that he frames blackness outside of these questions of gender and sexuality. You know what I mean? Like those things don't coincide together. Like you don't have, and just like you said, if you're paying attention to like who's really in danger currently, you feel me? Who's threatened? It's black trans people. Like that's what you mean. That's you feel me? Like so who we helping? You feel me?
Questions I need answers. Comments is popping. Aaliyah Don says, yes, Biden is still failing the black community, but not because he's taking care of other communities, but because he hasn't started to address our issues aside from what he is doing. Multitask. And I like that because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie. Some comments sound like some hater moves. Like, not the comments here, but tweets and stuff like that sound just like some real F them because y'all ain't looking out for us. Like, no, people are suffering. And that's the thing. That's the fatal flaw of niggas is that we have compassionate hearts. If nobody else understands the loss and the stripping of humanity, the dehumanization, the marginalization, the genocide of their people, nobody understands it more than black people do. So when we see it with other people, we see that, we recognize that, and we know what it looks like. We can't be the ones that's like, well, us first and us only. Nah, it's calling and demanding the system to do everything to correct itself in multiple ways at multiple times. Right? Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish up, Toya. Because I wanted to get to.
Go ahead.
I wanted to get to Dr. Dancy's comment.
Yeah.
Because he actually said that he. From our aside from our perspective about the way that I'm framing it in terms of how they don't associate, they remove, the blackness from trans. Dr. Dancy is saying that him and the federal government view trans people as white. I would like for you to elaborate quickly. Now I know you got a tight, you know what I'm saying, but I would like for you to elaborate a little bit on what you mean by that, you know what I'm saying, to educate me as well as the rest of the audience. Because I think uniquely, because whenever we talk about like the way that identities are framed, like it's always two sides to it. You know what I mean? So like you have what it means to be that, and then how that functions in the overall conversation. You feel me? So it on one hand, while you have somebody that's separating the blackness from the trans, then from Dr. Dancy's perspective, you then placing trans in the white category. And I would assume that it's like an erasure of black trans, you know what I'm saying, violence or black. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so we'll give them time to go ahead talk about that.
I want to answer this question because I feel like it's a fair one. New Kang Era asked the question, culturally, can you find trans people in the diaspora and in antiquity in Africa? The short answer is yes. Why? Because transness is not something that can be captured phenotypically. So if you're asking the question, can we find people who maybe have been born or recognized as a woman but dressed and gender themselves as a man or vice versa? Probably. I can imagine that there was somebody somewhere in antiquity and pre-colonial Africa that put on clothes that they weren't supposed to be wearing. But beyond that, trans is a state of being, it's a state of understanding, it's a state of relationality, and it's a state of identification. So the short answer is probably so. But did record of it, did conversation of it, did all those things make it to this point in conversation? Now I can't pull up no Google page, but I still dare to believe that those people absolutely existed.
Facts. Dr. Dancy did allow for that elaboration. He said, what I mean is that the federal government does not attend to the race-specific injury. So he's saying that the actual policy, George.
I thought Joe Biden, I even read the actual policy, but I know Joe Biden had said something specific. I feel like he signal boost specifically to black trans women and saying, I hear you, black trans women, this, that, and the other. I could be wrong, but I feel like he did specifically black trans women, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but it ain't no point to give him the benefit of the doubt. You feel me?
Agreed.
I do think
like,
Dr.
That's why I ended it with a whatever. Like,
yeah, I think he makes a great point to say that if it was a question of if the face of trans violence was actually black women, if that's what they were portraying, then they wouldn't get bills passed about them, pretty much. So, like, and I believe that.
Agreed. I agree with that, Dr. Nancy, wholeheartedly.
I definitely believe that to be
true. I want to give Bryce the attention they looking for tonight. What's up, Bryce?
Bryce, go ahead and hit that like button while you in the building, sir.
Hey, come shut up every week. We love it. Come hang out.
You do better off just starting off our fan page, man. Since you want to give us all this attention, you feel me? You need to better off starting I love attention that page, Bryce Badley. And then me peeping gang, you probably anonymous, you know what I'm saying? Like, because here's the irony of your comment. You care obviously because you're spending your time and you the one typing at us right now. We ain't typing at you. We just, you feel me? At this point, we just shooting the shit with you. But shout out to you though, man. Education is elevation. And why you over there hating in the comment section,
You know what I do when I see something I don't care about? I just turn it off. I get off of it. I pay too much money on my phone bill to sit there and marinate on something I don't care about. So I just scroll through. So I just wanted to give you the love you was looking for, Bryce. We love you. We care about you, partner. Not for real, but it sounded nice to say. Thanks for stopping by. Anyway, back to the conversation.
Yeah. So before we transition in a little bit, I do want to say this about Dr. Umar. I feel like we need to stop being desperate for figures. We need to stop being desperate for faces. We need to stop being desperate for mouthpieces. Like that brand of resistance and revolutionizing, you know what I'm saying? It had its time, you feel me? Like the way in which we understand who it is that's kind of carrying the torch for how we understand blackness and all that. It can't be centered around like who has the best rhetoric. You feel me? Like we can't keep making excuses for because as much as we talking about just his statements, we can go into the whole school conversation, the people who feel like he scammed conversation, the fact that he didn't got all this money. And it's like I do want to give him credit in saying some shit that could be true. Yeah, but everything else is just so problematic around dude that it's just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like he said some shit.
One of the tweets that I just saw before we started said, and it was from this morning. It said niggas will praise Dr. Umar for his comments this morning, but demonize for no name for saying the same thing with more complexity. And I think that is a great example for what Dr. Umar offers. I don't have to. I can leave that and go find it somewhere else without all the baggage, without all the problematic shit, without without the knowledge that the future that he's talking about with the reality and the status quo he wants to create for Black people doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't need that baggage. So instead, I'll just go find his politics and his theorizations about the world from other people who I find credibility in saying it. You know what I'm saying? So he's not saying something that's so unique and so dynamic. I just have to stay tuned because only Dr. Umar can lay it like that. He can talk his ass off. So can a whole lot of other people.
And it's more like he confirms things that I already believe in, and that's not enough for me.
Yeah. I feel like I hope this don't take. I feel like it may make it take longer, but I feel like my last question was he also made statements about whether Barack Obama did anything for Black people, and he said they didn't. And that's what Dr. Umar Johnson said, that Barack Obama didn't do anything for Black people. My question for y'all is, do y'all agree or disagree?
I agree.
I mean, it depends on what you. It depends.
It depends on what
cultural symbolism. You know what I'm saying? Like that a progressive image. You feel me? Like It has meaning. It has some significance, right?
I don't know. And then see, you and I differ. we have always argued about the importance of symbolics and of representation, and I just don't believe all that shit. As a matter of fact, not only does it not benefit, it is more destructive and disastrous than it is beneficial. So my short answer is no. Or maybe even long answer. I'm about to just start talking, but no, he didn't do nothing for Black people directly. Can I honestly say that things like Obamacare did not tangentially help Black people like get access to healthcare? Like, of course, but Dr. Danny,
we ain't talking about that shit, Damo. Like, yeah, we don't care about the empty signifiers.
None of that representation of politics bullshit. We don't want to hear it. But beyond that, like for Black people, like signs still that delivered. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, you know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here, but no. You know what I'm saying? Like, besides, that could have been my son in the photo moment where you let the little Black boy come and rub your way, because it could have been.
I would agree with that shit. Yeah, that was right.
Dr. Nancy right now cooking with just one-liners.
That symbolism.
The symbolism is dangerous. You can get lost in the sauce of the symbolism. And that's when you fall prey to the hypocrisy.
I'm gonna keep it a buck though. I do not, you know what I'm saying, make my stand on the Obama Hill. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I have my own perspective, but I do not.
You know,
my last stand would not be on the Obama Hill.
Barack Obama is one of those things that you enjoy quietly, like, oh, remember when he went on LA?
Right. Like, you can't be too hype about Obama. You could be like, yeah, I kind of liked Obama. Like,
he got up singing and shit. Like, all of that was cute. Like, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? But
where is the policy, my brother? And then I feel like the best you can give him is the I feel like my brother's people.
He did let the niggas out of jail, though. He did let a bunch of niggas out of jail before he got out of there. So did Donald Trump. But, you know, it is what it is.
Nigga came out of nowhere and said, "Where is the policy, my brother?" I don't know who turned into, but those are the questions that need to be answered. And he ain't got to. So.
But you know what? It's a great segue. It's a great segue on to the political chop. I'm gonna just go ahead and hijack it.
Hey, let me get my last couple last sentences on that Dr. Umar Johnson, man, because this is what I know, man. A lot of people always ask me how I feel about Dr. Umar Johnson and this, that, and the other. And just know right here, man, I think that somebody put it in the comment section. I feel like it was Dr. Dancy, but a quote from Ella Baker, I think. Like, strong people don't need a leader. And I think that right now, when we start looking for the Messiah to come save us and shit, that's how we start, I feel like, falling prey to kind of, to me, duplicating a lot of bad standards and practices and ethics, you know what I'm saying, inside of our community. And I think that's making our communities easily to get knocked off and knocked down. Once we can identify the leader, and they can identify the leader as well, they can lock them up, shoot them, kill them, frame them, you name it, you know what I'm saying? So I think that it's better for all of us to try to look towards ourselves and just find a way to be like, hey, we are the ones to free our damn selves in terms of you are your leader. You feel me? Like, everybody can't do everything. Everybody can't do the same thing, but everybody can do something. You know, and that's that.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and transition that on over to the political chop, because as a part of Dr. Umar's conversation, he was talking about them first 100 days of the Biden administration. And as much as we talking about, like, damn, we in April, Biden been president for 100 days.
Crazy.
You feel me? Like, that shit felt like it went quick. Now, even though it was Dr. Umar, and we did, express our criticism of Dr. Umar, I do think that we should kind of explore the criticism that he was levying, because I do think it was valid. I mean, I think we all agreed that it was valid, even though, you know what I'm saying, like, the message, it's like what they like, eat the meat, spit out the bones type shit. Now, in terms of Joe Biden's first 100 days, due to his relationship, the Biden campaign relationship with Black people, do you feel like they have lived up to the hype? Do y'all feel like the way that Biden and Kamala and them talked about their relationship with the Black community within these first 100 days, do y'all feel like they've lived up to kind of what they bragged and said they was gonna do?
Not even kinda. And my thing is, they not even trying to pacify us. Like, it'd be one thing if we was having a conversation about how they keep sending Kamala out there to say shit, or they keep sending, but we don't even get that. Like, it's blatant. The disrespect is deafening. Like, it is wild. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think for the most part, and actually that was ableist. I shouldn't have said deafening. But the just rejecting. So my bad for that, but just rejecting the needs, the voices, the perspectives, the existence of Black people. Terrible job. 0 out of 10.
To me, I feel like me knowing the people I be around, the best thing they'll say is that they was happy about that $1,400, but that was everybody out there that would qualify for it. It wasn't racial at all. I think that because they signal boosted specifically to Black people and specifically Black women, and they ain't produced nothing yet. It's just like, man, y'all showing me y'all was doing a lot of performative politics. We all use this fungible objects to get you some ballots, man. So what's really real? How long we gotta wait? We've been waiting for a long time. You actually waiting for a long time. So I put your ass where you at. How long we gotta wait? How long we gotta wait? So we'll see.
I mean, so what would y'all say was a part of some of y'all expectations? Because like I felt like I think I was a bit more realistic about why I was like advocating for voting for Joe Biden, and that was really just to get Trump the fuck up out of there.
Yeah, most of it.
So I mean,
Biden was voting against Trump for the most part, but I think that to me, I feel like because he made that elaborate lift every voice and sing plan where he talked about political, social, economic ways he
not
wanted
that you
to.
just called it it was the lift every voice plan. He said
The
every
lift
voice
voice
and sing.
Hey, shit, because he was singing like a motherfucker. Shit. He was singing and he had to sing it too, goddamn. And he ain't came through yet. He talked about he was gonna do something for education. He's gonna do something for healthcare, and specifically all to Black community. And to me, I feel like unless I missed something, and he ain't got it yet. So you know.
So you?
No, you good.
Well, do y'all think that? I guess I'll start with you then. So you like in terms of the way that they hyped it, what would living up to that expectation look like?
Anything that we can point to materially about one of two things: either the police directly or shooting or guns. Right? We need executive orders on the police, or we need executive orders on guns. Any one of those. Between the mass shootings and the 5, I think Dr. Umar talked about in that clip, 5 police killings. And I don't even think, that does include Micaiah, and that does include Dante, right? And so we got to do something, right? There's conversations about qualified immunity, but those conversations are going to drag on so freaking long that it's almost irrelevant and pointless because we know how deeply invested people are in protecting the police. So it's not as easy as a stroke of a pen for that. And in terms of these guns, niggas just got to quit playing. I watched a video where a 13-year-old went to like 3 different gas stations. They tried to buy liquor. They tried to buy some cigarettes. They tried to buy some lottery tickets. People said, no, baby, of course you get out. Why are you in here playing? No, we can't give you that. 4 different interactions at different places. And I think this is in the state of Colorado. They went to a gun show. 13-year-old went in there, bought a gun. Dude teaching them the metrics about it, telling them all the specs on it, telling them how this works, this, that, and the little boy walked out with a gun. 13.
Yeah, that's the little that's the workaround that most people utilize. My homie from Texas taught me this, that if you really want to get a gun like that, go to a gun show.
Period. So what it's so mind blowing. So to look at the reality of that and just to ask the question, what could be done if anything was possible, my dude, you got to get on top of these guns and you got to get on top of these police. And qualified immunity is where you start, because that's the only thing that will not only start to rectify a lot of the issues we have in now, but it gives Black people the insurance policy for later instances where we don't need no magic wand this time, because we know we can't depend on the magic wand next time. We can't really buy into Derek Chauvin this time because we know the next time it's going to end up completely different. We need something like the protection by the law for police from here on out to start to rehabilitate the trust that we have in the system. And so until any of that is nothing.
And while we at it, go on, put your money where your mouth is, Biden. You was talking about some marijuana shit, so go on. Is what I say, man. Go on and lift the federal regulations, restrictions on that shit, and place an incentive to make you wear on the state level. They have to do some type of racial incentive for Black people, especially the ones it's literally been criminalized, nonviolent victimless crime, and did some time behind marijuana, where people right now is able to literally change around millions and billions of dollars on the stock market, but behind marijuana now make it where in a lot of these states, from the East Coast to the West Coast to the Midwest, is people that's locked up still to this day, and people that's locked up, people that was locked up for that. And I think that it would, to me, only makes sense to place some type of economic incentive to make it where Black people get to go into this industry nationwide and be able to, jump in, because I feel like it don't make sense. You feel me? And with that being said, free all my niggas locked up for nonviolent victimless crimes.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with both of y'all. I think a part of the problem is that there, because the bar was so low, it's like shit. Wow, I mean, we taking 100. A lot of people are taking 100-day breath of fresh air, like 100 days of like, damn, it's not some crazy shit. Like the news isn't talking about it's the end of the world. 100 days of it's not like, oh my god, unprecedented chaos. Donald Trump is going to drive us like that. Like the panic that was created around Trump. That the fact that we have a like normal politician is easing a lot of people, but that's a part of the problem. Donald Trump became possible because people didn't want normal politicians because they was fucking useless.
Yeah,
They wasn't doing shit.
that part.
But because the bar ended up dropping so fucking low, a normal politician is now caused. Because like I mean, one thing that that I was doing on Instagram was talking a lot about. I remember I made a video right after Biden got elected where like I just went off like all the shit that I was holding on to like during the election, like defending him on and shit. Like I was just able to say, nah, fuck that shit. You a piece of shit. You racist. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was finally able to get it out. Like I spent all this time defending your ass to get you elected because I felt like it was necessary. So now I'm about to speak my mind. Because now that you in office, very little repercussions could come from me talking shit about the sitting president. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the amount of people that kind of like really jumped on me, being like, "You got to give him a chance. You got to do." And I'm like, wait. Y'all was the same motherfuckers who wasn't voting at all because y'all was just so fed up. I'm just so tired. Yeah. These politicians have just let us down, and I'm not participating at all. The same shit they made, and I ain't even putting that on black people. I'm talking about, I mean, you had record low turnout, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Mitt Romney in 2012 would have beat both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? And he lost to Obama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got all these people that on one hand, it's like y'all not even participating, but now you defending the same politicians that kept you from being a part of the process in the first fucking place.
That made no sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where we get. That's where I see a lot of problems. Now, another thing that that Umar brought up that I feel like is, you know, could mean something is the old anti-Asian hate crime bill that came out, and I want to get y'all thoughts on this. Now, just to give y'all a little background behind what's in that bill, for the most part, it is something that is like really symbolic. You know what I'm saying? It creates a new position in one of them cabinet offices that pretty much expedites claims that are associated with a category that they now have with COVID-19 specific hate crimes, so they can expedite the investigations and looking into that type of shit. And so, essentially, along with expediting those investigations, you have people that are teaching other people about anti-Asian hate, anti-Asian violence. Like that's pretty much all the bill is. From that perspective, do y'all think that's the type of bill that we should be like? See, we not getting nothing like that. You feel me? Like, is what they getting for that even worth the conversation?
That's hard, but the short answer is I think the short is no, right? And that's where I think we have to think about the second step. It's kind of like when we protest, but it's like, what are we asking for after that? We can demand for like them to get up and stroke our egos and make us feel really good, but if those things aren't translating into meaningful policies that actually attack and grapple with something that's a fine example par excellence of going the long way around, you know what I'm saying? So I do want you to, and this goes back to the conversation we was going to having back and forth with, you know, myself and the plug. Is like, I don't want any more gymnastics. I don't want any more performatives. I don't want any more representation. I don't want something to be on the docket or on a slate. I don't want it to get bumped up, you know what I'm saying, from the Senate to the House just because y'all feel good about yourselves. I want some shit to really shake from something. And you know, I think King A Official was talking in the comments about how, you know, Biden can't do anything by himself, or maybe that was somebody else, but that nothing can happen or should happen. We shouldn't want things to just happen by, you know, executive order. And I agree with that as well. But like somebody got to do something because y'all niggas is losing trust. And I think it's frustrating. It's frustrating because they're not doing shit and we just get nothing.
Man, I feel like a part of me thinks that the civility game of playing politics and making it where we don't want to do too much executive orders is like, hey, Donald Trump already showed us there is a way to be able to cater towards certain people. I seen a comment earlier that said that I know the Obama conversation is over, but Obama wasn't the president of black people. He was the president of the United States, of all of America. And I think that my response to that is that Donald Trump showed there are ways to curate policy that's specifically towards your base, that's specifically towards the people that you made promises to, whether it's tax cuts or whether it's, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I don't really care about the backlash from them. Because in my mind, that's the only thing that you're trying to save face for, is that you don't want them to do this, or then they already did it.
I will agree. I will say this. The thing we do have to admit about Barack Obama's presidency was that they didn't let that man do shit. And
I could acknowledge that.
Because of the way
Mitch McConnell built his career on it.
Exactly. I think that was something that King A official had pointed out was, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't just a question, or somebody in the comments, it wasn't just a question of what Obama did or didn't do in his felons. It was the uphill battle that he was in with a Republican dominated, you know what I'm saying, House and Senate. So
Congress,
the whole Congress that's just locked up in gridlock, intentional gridlock, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, we literally is not finna let this nigga succeed or send any symbols or any cues to his people that y'all want to come up. We don't want him feeling good. We don't want his people feeling good. We don't want his constituents feeling good. That is a referendum, right? That we have to remember and keep in mind when we are critical of Barack Obama. So I will say that, you know what I'm saying? We don't hate the nigga, but it's just
Mitchie.
This is where we problematize romanticizing the office of the president anyway, because none of that shit. And you get to people who don't want to vote, and you have to validate their perspectives and their ideas. Because when you peel back all the layers on this bullshit and see the nonsense behind it, for any of it to make sense, I can get why somebody will opt out of playing in the first place. I get it.
Yeah. I think. But you know, I do think that the president, in terms of when people talk about what he can and what they can or can't do, it essentially has to do with what they're willing to sacrifice. Donald Trump was willing to sacrifice any type of civility with anybody he considers a Democrat in order to get done what he wanted to get done. Period. So we know it's possible. But where are you going to situate your political capital? And as much as Democrats are just baffled as to why Republicans haven't abandoned Donald Trump the way that they assumed that they would after he lost, it's essentially because it was like, shit, people still fuck with him. A lot of conservative base still look to him as the leadership and the mouthpiece of the party. And so ultimately, there's no liberal. I ain't gonna say there ain't no liberal. None of the liberals with the clout and the influence, like somebody like Joe Biden, or even like somebody like Kamala Harris, are willing to go that far. They not willing to, you know what I'm saying, ostracize the other side to the point where they like, hey, these people just uncivil. Like, I just like the way Democrats be like, yo, Republicans are just fucked up people, like just based on what they stand on. You ain't got no Democrats that's willing to do that or influential Democrats that's willing to do that for a stand like racism. Like they will choose the middle ground civility path over everything else. But specifically, I did want to get what y'all thought in terms of what impact y'all thought this this anti-Asian hate crime bill will have, because I think people are putting a lot of energy into being like, well, see, they getting this. I mean, but when you look at what they getting, I look at it as something that's more so like, see, y'all should feel how we feel with these empty ass bills and, you know what I'm saying, executive orders and shit that's always about awareness and preaching and teaching. But what the fuck real impact does it have? Like,
yeah, pretty much the same thing. I'm thinking, just like I don't know what it does in the world of the people that's already being racist. It's already technically federal laws against, you feel me, discrimination in more ways than some, including hate crimes. So in my mind, it's just like, shit, them policies ain't working. You gonna throw more policy at it? Okay.
You muted, so you.
I'm having an allergy attack, so I'm trying not to be like in y'all ear every 2 seconds. But I just, if that's the hard, painful road you want to walk down, then cool. I think, when we look at historically Asian Americans and the experiences they've had in this country, they have been just as bad and just as problematic and just as exclusionary as anybody's. Literally, the Chinese Exclusion Act, Japanese internment camps, right? The various types of just exclusions and violences and discriminations they've experienced. The homogenization Versus Asian people. A lot of people don't recognize when you're talking about Asia, you're talking about Russians. When you're talking about Asia, you're talking about India. You're talking about Indians, right? So, and not to mention Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, North Korea, you know, like
Pacific Islanders
And
as
that's
well.
Pacific
and,
Islanders.
right, and that's essentially how race functions. It functions to conflate identity. It doesn't speak to any diversity. But that's a
Exactly.
different
So
conversation.
this is not to be absent or ahistorical about any of those things, but that's what I think is the most interesting about this, that even over time and historically, they have had bills that have been meaningful, that have been impactful, that have been literally materially changing for their communities. And so it's weird in both one regard to see that a lot of those same types of bills and legislation have not been created for Black people since what, the Emancipation Proclamation or some shit. And then
Right.
secondly,
Like the Civil Rights Act or some shit. Like,
I suppose we could talk about, but you pass anti-discrimination laws, and we should actually stay with the niggas. I would actually like it over there with them. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But there's just so much that we haven't seen for Black people, and I think that it's so interesting that now they're getting a lot of symbolic gestures and a lot of symbolic actions, when historically a lot of their things have been a lot more material. But that's just, interesting takes.
George, how did you feel about the conversation shifting towards Black people though?
Man, I just seen it as like some anti-Black shit. I seen it as pretty much like some textbook anti-Black shit of we're tired of Black people's pain and suffering being sensationalized all over the media, and as a result, we're gonna be able to try to chastise Black people and say, "See, you people, you always want to show stuff. Y'all always want it to be about y'all when it's pain and suffering, but when it's pain and suffering about somebody." That's how I seen it. Like some textbook divide and conquer, anti-Black. We're gonna figure out a way to stigmatize and further pathologize Black people as being some selfish, self-centered ass people that only care about their own pain and suffering, and nobody else's. That's how I seen it.
I think that's why, and no lie, with what George is saying, I really just hope that if Asian people in the Asian community really want change, that they do not buy into this junior partnership bullshit that they being sold, because y'all being pandered to, y'all being underplayed and downplayed. Because when it's all said and done, you are not white, you do not have access to that. So you building barriers and truncating relationships and pointing fingers at niggas and others, just because you feel like you've been done wrong, does not help you. Keep your eyes on the prize. We have a common enemy. If we're gonna navigate it, you know what I'm saying? Don't be distracted by the bullshit.
Yeah, hey, I'm for being on TikTok too. Shout out to everybody of the Asian diaspora that was real on their toes and critiquing every step of the way, and still been critiquing every step of the way. How people in your community has been anti-Black, and how the media has been kind of trying to weaponize anti-Blackness against Black people when it's come to all of this Asian hate. Because it's like really what I found that it too is that it's really I seen it as like white privilege almost. It's like the same way that you can point at Black people and saying you take responsibility and accountability for what you do and say. It's like the one chance you had to be able to talk about who is in its totality in the big picture being, discriminatory towards the Asian community. You figured out a way to literally put it all on the backs of Black people, as if we're all the ones that's fueling and being the ones that's trailblazing and bearing the brunt against this. And not to say that we're immune, but it's just to say to me, to me, I feel like when you want to paint us as the face of it, that's that anti-Black criminality and make it where Black people have to be the face of some discrimination, some crime, some violence.
Yeah, before we close out, I do want to point out Dr. Dancy comment where he say anti-Asian is itself a way not to deal with anti-Blackness. All these antis have emerged in response to a anti-Black centrality named by anti-Blackness. Right, everything is really, when they take it out of anti-Blackness and then kind of try to give it other names like anti-Asian, they really just moving it back towards the center. Right, like we always talked about whiteness was the center of all things, or sets us up as the center of all things, and anti-Blackness is what existed or Blackness is what existed on the margins. Well, when we're talking about the violence that's happening to Black people, right, and we're trying to center it on that question of that anti-Black violence, any other because it's anti-Black violence that makes all these other violence, the forms of violence possible. Exactly. Right, like if you could do it to the people at the bottom, then you can do it to everybody else. You feel me? So as you move it away from Black people, it's an erasure that's happening that motherfuckers ain't even really understanding. But I'll say this though, in terms of like even looking at these types of crime bills and being like, well, they doing this for them. They're not doing shit for them. It's not it like educating people on race. If you know about any one form of racism, you know about all fucking racism. You know what I'm saying? Like to be like, well, racism to A, we know what that shit look like. You know when you fucking wrong. You know when you operating out of a stereotype. You know when you the way that you responding to these people is framed around a negative aspect of their identity. That's racism. You feel me? Like you're not adding anything to the conversation by centering it around what's happening to Asian Americans. Because I mean, we know throughout history when white people got to deal with some shit, they find somebody to take it out on. 9/11 happened. The entire Muslim American community, you feel me? It was one of the highest spikes in hate crimes that we've ever seen. You feel me? What's happening in COVID is fucked up. But what happened to the Muslim American community after 9/11? The highest spike in hate crimes that we've ever seen. You feel me? So we know how this shit go down. You know what I mean? So just make sure that, hey, know who the fuck you talking to. Don't preach to the choir about racism. You know what I mean? When it's a whole motherfucking audience of motherfuckers who need the message.
Yeah.
And that's for real.
And always remember, resolving anti-blackness will allow for you to recognize the way that anti-blackness functions, which is to blacken the other. Right? They deny your humanization by projecting proximity to blackness onto you. So when you act out of character, when you are a deviant being, when you are something that does not look like the white center or the white model, you get blackened. Right? You may not have access to things like the Middle Passage and the project of modernity as it influences your actual flesh, but the system, the white supremacist system, the anti-black system will blacken you and bring you and suck you in more closer and closer into proximity with nigginess just based on your deviance. You know what I'm saying? So don't get comfortable. Do not get comfortable. Don't fall asleep at the wheel. And that's that on that.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all follow us at the Chop Up Show on Instagram, at the Chop Up Show on Facebook, at the Chop Up Pod on Twitter.
Chop Up Show Pod. Chop Up Show Pod. You're so close.
Chop Up Show Pod. Chop Up Show Pod.
Maybe if you had a phone, you would be able to know what the name.
Hey, that's after the show conversations. That's an after the show conversation.
Well,
get these people out of my business. Y'all know who I am. Y'all can follow me at the political. Well, maybe I don't know. Y'all might know who I am. I'm at the political plug. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Toya G.
At Toya G, and then consciously over here in the Kente Motherland head rap. Y'all know where to find him at.
Man. Consciously, GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com. Rock with me, holler at me. You know.
Hey, and if y'all ain't already, make sure y'all go to if you got an iPhone, go to Apple Podcast. Follow the Chop Up, subscribe, whatever you do on Apple. Make sure y'all leave a review. Let's go ahead and get that ratings up. Same thing on Spotify, the Chop Up Show. And yo, we do it big on Google. All you gotta do is Google the Chop Up Show. You will find us and everything you need to like, subscribe to, and do all of that from that point. Anything else y'all want to say before we get out of here?
Ninja Tyler Black said, "Calm your beard."
You know who that is, Toya.
Do I?
Yeah. That's Tyler.
What's up, Tyler? Get him.
Hey man, I'm a comment when I get out of here though. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know what it is. It's the Chop Up. We gonna end it the way we started. We out.
Me, my guys, we really live. Lord, forgive me, pay my tithes. Please don't have me reach inside. And that's in the console. Keep the semi when I ride. Lit off Henny when I drive. In the city.